bring awareness not just to blindness, because when you think of someone as blind, I think the stereotypical thing is you might imagine them like in sunglasses, and usually they'll have a service dog or they'll have a cane, right? And is actually the statistic, I think, is less than it's like less than 10% of people who are blind and visually impaired slash legally blind, less than 10% of us use a cane or a service dog.
Do you know the
Very
difference
confusing.
between legally blind and illegally blind?
Right? No, well, there's Stargardt disease don't have any central vision because that's what the macula and our retina, those cells are responsible for your central vision, which is for fine detail and for color. So I just don't have any central vision. Like I am right now looking, quote unquote, looking at the camera on my iMac right now for this podcast, but I can't actually see the camera because that's where I'm pointing my central vision. So it's actually just this big blind spot that is the shape of like what my hands are right now.
So like when you started losing your vision, like what would go into your mind? Like were you like fuck, 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 fuck?
Dude, that's so funny because I try to like think about it now. So, in general, like being treated differently. So, it's like almost like my disability and not seeing that or not having the eyesight didn't really bother me that much. I was like, okay, I have to use magnifiers now. This is annoying, but this is just how it is. It's just the people around me that started changing. Like kids in my school and my like people who used to be my friends, like weren't my friends anymore.
Question is that so if you're losing your eyesight, would that mean that your other senses are heightened? Like I guess you could hear better?
Yeah.
I just want to say that your social media presence is fucking impressive given your blindness. Like you're actually a lot better than most people who can actually see, almost like
Oh,
they have a disability.
I need to educate the world on blindness now that I see how much is going on. You just listen, you get into blind talk and hear what all the blind people are dealing with, and I'm like, this is just absolutely insane. How do people still not know about this? You want to say hi? Oh, she's finally saying hi. Hi. Uh, oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah.
So I know you are really attractive to voices. Would you be down to give your honest opinion on my voice? Because I never had my voice rated before.
Sure.
Would you press a button to restore full vision for a mom, but a random person dies in the world that you were forced to move and you say you were discriminated again? So, like, how does someone discriminate you for your blindness?
While this 6 foot man is telling me I'm not allowed to speak, is throwing arms at me, is telling me how much he's accommodating me for being blind, but we're having a conversation about him asking me to do something for him, which is in the first place not my responsibility anyway.
I don't know. I think it's really good. So I'm just gonna sing a chorus. Uh, I'm, I'm
Oh,
Yeah, I'm terrible at singing. So like, hello, welcome to my podcast. To Mike on Joe Suit. I'm Joe Suit, and I'll be giving a mic to Stephanie. She is my first blind guest, so I hope she knows where the mic is. She's an actress, singer, model, a pretty huge following on Instagram and TikTok, or should I say Blind Talk, who can also speak some Russian. It's a pleasure to have you today.
hi. Thank you so much, Joe. Or Joe Such, right?
I mean, we're gonna go on a first name basis, you know. We're friends
Okay,
now.
true. True. I like the way that one sounds though. It's fun. Joe Such. Anyway, hi. Yes, I'm Stephanie. I'm blind, visually impaired, all of the above.
Well, before we were getting into this interview, you were talking about blind versus visually impaired. Like, what do you go out as?
Right. Yeah, no, it's really confusing. Just which is a big part of why I do social media to try to bring awareness not just to blindness, because when you think of someone as blind, I think the stereotypical thing is you might imagine them like in sunglasses, and usually they'll have a service dog or they'll have a cane, right?
Mm.
And is actually the statistic, I think, is less than it's like less than 10% of people who are blind and visually impaired slash legally blind, less than 10% of us use a cane or a service dog. So 90% of us just like we walk around and we quote unquote look normal, you know? So
So,
it's
do you know the
very
difference
confusing.
between legally blind and illegally blind?
Right? No, well, there is no illegally blind, but legally blind, the scientific definition is something like, I think, worse than 2200 vision, which is not a very helpful term, 2200. It basically means like, it's like the 20/20, right? So 20/20 is perfect vision, 2200 means that if I had 2200 vision, I would have to be standing 20 feet to see something that you can see from 200 feet away. Does that make sense? So
I
like I
had
would have to
no,
get much closer.
I had no idea that's what it meant till now. I thought it's a
Yeah.
random number. Okay.
Really? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Okay. I'm learning here. I'm sure you weren't getting 2020 jokes when the year 2020 came around, were you?
Oh my gosh. No, I wish. I don't know why, but I guess people didn't think of it. I remember Molly Burke having a 2020 joke on one of her YouTube videos that I watched, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I do.
Um,
Yeah, I do want to say in this for the audience to not understand. So, there are many people who are blind, but blind doesn't mean they can't see anything. It just means their vision is affected in some way.
right, yeah.
So let's start with your diagnosis, or none of this conversation will make sense. Stephanie is diagnosed with Stargardt's disease since she was 9. It is a rare genetic eye disease that happens when fatty material builds up on the macula, the small part of the retina needed for sharp central vision. This basically means that it's like someone threw dirt at it like a camera lens, and you can barely see through it. Is that a fair description to you from my research?
Yeah, so I don't have any people with Stargardt disease don't have any central vision because that's what the macula and our retina, those cells are responsible for your central vision, which is for fine detail and for color. So I just don't have any central vision. Like I am right now looking, quote unquote, looking at the camera on my iMac right now for this podcast, but I can't actually see the camera because that's where I'm pointing my central vision. So it's actually just this big blind spot that is the shape of like what my hands are right now. So big swirling vortex of black nothingness in the middle of my vision all the time.
So I know you have no central vision, but I like you were mentioning that like when you're looking at me, you just see blackness, I guess.
Yeah.
And I like you know that it's respectful that you should be looking at the person, but would you actually want to like not look at me like sideways so it's more like accommodating to you?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a really good point. I it's like honestly habitual now for me to like I'm really not looking at my camera just because like I'm trying to do a good job of looking at the camera. It kind of is just habitual now that I do that because a lot of times when I was in, so I started losing my vision at 9, like you said. So then when I was in middle school, kids are just mean in middle school. So I literally have kids who were like, I'm not going to talk to you unless you're looking at me. So I was like looking, like to the side because that's what my eyes were doing to actually like look at them. But kids were literally like, I'm not going to talk to you unless you look at me. So I just like made it a thing to learn how to look at people. And now it's a habitual thing and I don't really purposely do it to make other people happy, but that's how it came about.
I
I
just
just
I just
kind of
I just had a really intelligent idea right now. Okay, you gotta hear me out.
Mhm.
Okay, so like I know you say it's respectful, like you have to look at the person. I get that, but what you should do is you should buy a webcam and put it to the side so like you can look at the webcam, but like you can see the person, but they don't know.
Right. That's yeah, that's true. I just don't put that much effort into it, honestly. But
No,
that's true. I mean, you're smart.
I think
I
that would be so genius.
right. Yeah, that's true. I feel like I haven't owned a webcam since like 2012, though, to be honest. I
No, I
just
mean,
use
no, it's so easy now. But yeah, I think it would be good if you want to just see the person. Or
yeah.
so I know there was a video with Molly Burke and like Shane Dawson and like some other guy.
Mhm.
I'm sure you have seen it, but
I don't think so.
So Molly Burke was is I don't know what blindness she has, but so like what
She has
they did.
retinitis pigmentosa. Anyway.
I didn't do research on her, so I have no idea.
Oh,
Uh,
that's okay. I was just putting that out there.
yeah. No, and then like so what Shane Dawson, like he's a big YouTuber, they had the glasses that you can wear that like simulate what a blind person goes through. You know, some
Oh,
have
cool.
this yeah, and then some just have like really, really narrow vision, like a pinhole or something, and it was just I
Yeah, like
would
it's tunnel vision or something?
I think so. It would just be cool. I don't know. There's something like I get messed up around me. Like I would love the ability to like be in other people's shoes for a day. I think that would be like really cool to do. It's just like like it's one thing for me to talk to you when you explain your experiences, but like I would truly never know. I would love to be in your, I would love to switch bodies with you one day and like, experience everything you do. And I don't know if you want to switch bodies with me though.
Dude, I was actually thinking about this like when I was walking my dog yesterday, how we should have like a disability day or something like that, some kind of holiday where all the kids in their schools like choose a disability to like try to emulate and simulate for the day to like literally try to walk in, well, not literally, I guess, but walk in the shoes of disabled people. I thought that would be cool.
I feel like most people wouldn't do it, but I think it'd be so like, I mean, I always wanted to do a video of like give people like a wheelchair and just have them live in it for like a week. And like I remember I did it in college and I had people and they were like, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, okay, there goes my plan. But like it, like people
They do
know it's
that.
hard. It just don't want to do it unless
Yeah.
they have to.
Oh, yeah. Well, most people are lazy because they don't have to deal with the difficulties of being disabled.
I get it, but we'll move on. So like when you started losing your vision, like what would go into your mind? Like were you like fuck, 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 fuck?
Dude, that's so funny because I try to like think about it now. So I'm 24, but it happened when I was 9. And dude, I don't know. I didn't really get what was happening that much. I was 9 years old. It was more like it was just a new inconvenience. And it took a while for me to even like fully grasp that it was a permanent thing. Like, I mean, you get it, but I'm 9. I'm literally in my classroom learning cursive. Like, it's kind of difficult to comprehend, like, an eye disease, like you're just kind of doing your best, nodding your head, going to all the appointments that your parents tell you have to go to. Because I went to, this is when I was living in Turkey. So first I saw eye doctors in Turkey, and then they sent me to specialists in Germany, and then sent me to specialists in the US. So at that point, I was just thinking, yeah, you get to go on free vacations. I get to like miss some school, like no big deal. But I could see my parents got really upset by it. And then moving forward, I don't know. I see it's so interesting because it was like, to me, it didn't affect me that much. I was like, okay, this is an inconvenience. And the only time it was really that much of an inconvenience was in school because that's when I had to like read and, do things with my eyes rather than just like walk around my house and watch TV and stuff. So I thought school was hard, but one thing I noticed was just the general like being treated differently. So it's like almost like my disability and not seeing that or not having the eyesight didn't really bother me that much. I was like, okay, I have to use magnifiers now, and this is annoying, but this is just how it is. It's just the people around me that started changing. Like kids in my school and my like people who used to be my friends like weren't my friends anymore. And I was in an international school, so I had a class size of like 14 people, and by that I mean like the entire all of the fourth grade of the entire country kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know, does that answer the question? I This is
um,
kind of just the thoughts I've had.
did your like parents believe you when you first like was like I'm having trouble seeing?
Oh, yeah, actually, I didn't tell my parents. My teacher just knew that something was wrong because I kept asking my friend to read the board to me. Like every morning, we would start with a warm up exercise and she would project it on the board. And she noticed that every day I was asking my friend to read it to me because I couldn't see it anymore. So my teacher told my parents, and so my parents were like, oh, okay, she just needs glasses. So they just took me to the eye doctor. There was no one questioning that I couldn't see.
Wow, that's kudos to you for like not complaining about it, but just more like get the tax done and however you do it and just do it instead of like
Yeah.
going for help.
Dude, I don't know. I was just really young. I don't think I was thinking about it because it's slightly embarrassing because you're just a 9-year-old and you're like, I don't really get what's happening. And I think anybody, even if you can get corrective lenses, it's just confusing. And you're like, this is not how my world normally is. So I was kind of just ignoring it for a little while because you're like, I don't know what's going on. Is this going to go away? Like, is this permanent? So I was just kind of going with the flow. And then my teacher was like, yeah, Stephanie can't like read the board anymore. So you guys might want to go figure out what's going on there.
So did that equal why you moved to the United States then?
Oh no, my dad was just in the military. He was Navy. So we were just stationed in Turkey for 3 years. And then we just came back to the US because this is where we want to be permanently.
So, like, question is that so if you're losing your eyesight, would that mean that your other senses are heightened? Like, I guess you could hear better.
Yeah, that's an interesting question that I talk about with my blind friends. I think that everybody has this capacity to, like, this untapped potential in their senses that they just don't access because they don't need to, you know? And so when you're blind, for me, I'm actually just getting better at it. I don't know if my senses are really like, my senses aren't really getting better, but they're much more sensitive than they used to be. Like, I am way more sensitive to noises now. Like, I can't sleep with the TV above volume like 1 or something. And
Hmm.
it's like not even joking. And
You would die in New York
um
City because everything is so much
okay,
louder.
well, okay, weird thing though. I did grow up in a city in Turkey. So when I say loud noises, I mean like I can't do the noises if they're like in the room with me. If I'm in a city and it's just really loud hustle bustle outside, I can sleep through that like no problem. I sleep like a baby. It makes no
Okay.
sense.
No, that makes total sense. Just I noticed from one of your videos that you have like a magnifier glass, but I think over time technology improved in phones that now you just use your phone for to magnify everything. And I
Yeah.
think yeah, so I think you have it so that when it reads something, it reads extra fast for you, so like you don't have to like sit there. Is that true?
Yeah. So you mean like voiceover where technology will do like read aloud functions?
Yeah, like but you have it on like a faster speed that I noticed a lot of other blind people do. They'll have like really really fast that I
Yeah.
do it with I do it with my YouTube videos. I actually speed it up because you can watch your video the same. But like I see a lot of blind people, they actually speed up their like the voiceovers. So like if you don't, you're not expecting it. It's like it's crazy. Like do you
Yeah,
do that
no.
same?
That's also a practice thing because it just, you kind of get used to. So, optical character. Oh, okay. Well, I guess there's a few things. There's optical character recognition, but we're just talking about technology talking to us. So on Apple, that's voiceover. On Android, that's talkback. On Windows, that's like narrator, stuff like that. This is somewhat new of a technology. Like, that was early development when I was going through school. So I've kind of grown with it, and you get used to the way that they say, like, it'll say words in like a wrong way, or it'll pronounce words in a weird way, like as if it has an accent or something. You get used to that from listening to it all the time, and then you just over time can listen to it faster and faster and faster. And obviously, us being blind, like, it takes us a long time to do things, especially reading. So we like to listen to things very quickly. And it's, yeah, really easy. Because I was in the kitchen with my dad the other day listening to something. I was listening to, like, oh yeah, a news article on NASA. I was listening to a news article, and my dad was just standing there like, I cannot comprehend anything that this machine is saying. And I was like, yeah, so it's cool.
I think it's a really good trait to have. Actually,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, accessibility in general is becoming a very important thing. And honestly, it's really helpful in content creating. Like, that I've had to learn how to access technology in weird ways. It's just been very helpful.
I
But
mean
yeah.
kudos to like Apple and like I guess Samsung like for actually inputting accessibility features because there's no laws or anything for them to do any of this. Like they don't have to do anything; they just want to do it.
Oh, well, they would be losing a lot of money if they weren't, actually, because, how else are people aren't going to buy phones if they can't use it. And the disabled population, it is smaller, but for things like hearing and vision, that's something that's like very common to lose with age, right? So they have to think of that people, like those people, also just senior citizens who want things just naturally magnified, naturally like higher contrast, things like that. But yeah, no, if anything, is Apple. Apple has always been like the best company in terms of accessibility, which is awesome. Like, they're actually kind of the reasons that the other companies and businesses got into it, because Apple was doing such a good job. So I love Apple. Everything I have is Apple.
Thank you because I can. If someone texts me with a green bubble, I don't even reply back. Like,
I know when you make those group messages and it's that one person
oh
that makes it
no.
like not an iPhone group chat. Yeah, and you're just like, nope,
I
we don't,
I
you're not allowed in this chat anymore.
No, yeah, I did join a speaker bureaus group, and we had like 14 people, and I was just adding like all these people. I was like the ringleader, like gathering everyone. And I was like praying to
Hmm.
God that everyone had an iPhone, and and then we all got all 14 people, and then everyone had a blue bubble, and I'm like, oh my God, it is like destiny right here.
This is like the life has shined on me today. That's funny. Yeah, no, I can't stand it, but it sucks because I have one family member who's Android, or my brother and his wife, so my sister-in-law, they're Android users, so they just ruin
Oh
all of
no.
this. Like they're the reason I have Fiber, I have Facebook Messenger, like all these apps I don't want on my phone, but I
Um,
have to
I
use.
know. I don't. Yeah, I hate doing it like WhatsApp. I hate doing it so much. Like I'll do anything to delete the app.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know. I don't like having it for like one person. It's like I guess you'll never touch them. I'm not gonna talk to you. Just
Yeah.
we were meant to be
Yeah, no,
together.
I'm
You know.
not. Yeah,
No.
no, it sucks though, because if you have family overseas, because I have a lot of my mom's sister, so also Belarusian, they didn't weren't able, or they didn't even try to get a citizenship in the US, so they live in Canada, so we have to like Viber with them. Actually, no, they have iPhones. Never mind. But still, we still Viber with them.
I get it. WhatsApp is
International.
very popular in Europe. I know that, but you gotta come to
Yeah.
the bright side.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Don't worry, Apple will just take over the world, or is that Amazon?
No, but yeah, kudos to Apple and for them. I've been disabled all my life, but I've been ignorant about the disabled community. I never realized how
Mm,
large it is. And I think if you're just like a regular person, you don't realize how large the disability community is. So like if you create to like
yeah.
Apple must have known something that like there's a huge group of people that don't have access to this technology. Let's help them out, and then like a regular person would be like, why should they invest money into this? But they saw it somehow, and like
Yeah.
it revolutionized them. And also want to say that I know you made a YouTube video of like you showing off like a magnifying glass, not a glass, but
Yeah.
like the tablet thing, and you said it would
Electronic
cost like a
magnifier.
yeah, and you said it cost like $1,000, and I'm like, shit. Like a iPhone is like
Yeah.
$1,000, but like you can do like everything with it, and you just bought $1,000 magnifying. Like iPhone can do that, plus like Facebook.
Yeah. Well, see, a lot of so that magnifier I didn't buy. It's pretty easy to find, and you have to, okay, so it's pretty easy to find organizations, governmental organizations. Like for me, I use the Department for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Virginia, so the Virginia Department for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And they are really nice about funding technology because, yeah, low vision technology is expensive as crap because I guess because there's not a lot of people doing it, and you make like a completely new technology that's very specific to people. I don't know. There's just not. Anyway, it's very expensive. So
What
I use those people, and yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say that also. You just got to do it kind of like when you're in school, because they can get like funding very easily for students, but much harder for adults. So when I was going through high school and college, I got a lot of technology from them.
is there any tool that is not available like on an iPhone that I wouldn't know of, or has iPhone just replaced everything?
It's not really that the iPhone doesn't have the capability, but it's actually just limitations in terms of size. So, like for example, there's this thing called a CCTV, and kind of just looks like it's a big monitor, and instead of a keyboard, it kind of just has this large landing for you to put like paper on and stuff. So, like if you get mail, you can slip it under there, and then you have a big screen that magnifies it for you in real time. And the reason that that's beneficial is because, like, iPhones, like, you can magnify, but one, it's a small screen, right? So if I magnify and I see only 3 letters because it has to be that big for me to see, that's not like a good use of my time to read an
Yeah.
entire piece of mail 3 letters at a time. So that's why you need the big screen. Also, when you magnify really small on an iPhone, there's just not really that stabilization yet, and it gets very like shaky and blurry, and that hurts your eyes, especially if you already have a visual impairment. It's like really straining.
Oh, thank you for telling me about that. I didn't think that far, so I sound ignorant right
Yeah,
now.
you wouldn't need to. Yeah, I that's why blindness education is, yeah, nobody blindness is, there's a lot to it and that you just don't.
No, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm excited to talk to you to explore the blind side. Not the movie with Sandra
Hmm.
Bullock and the other one. Yeah, I mean
I don't think I've seen that movie actually. I know
it's
I
very
must.
heartwarming.
It's not about blind people, right? Isn't it?
No, it's about this mom, this white mom that I think she goes to like a. I don't remember how it goes, but she like adopts this high schooler, big football guy, and then like she just like, gives him love and everything, gives him hope, and then I think he becomes like a football player and like, you know, worth millions of dollars now and stuff. Just like a hopeful movie. Like, if you get the right
Okay,
get the right support, you can do anything you want. Something like that.
right. Yeah, okay. So it's, yeah, it's, I thought it was a sports movie. I've been watching a lot of those right
Oh
now.
yeah, it is. But we'll move on to that. So, I just want to say that your social media presence is fucking impressive, given your blindness. Like you're actually a lot better than most people who can actually see, almost like
Oh,
they have a disability.
thank you. That's so funny. Yeah, I saw or I've been seeing comments recently of people are like, "You do better with TikTok and I can see," which is so nice. I mean, I wasn't always like, I started social media in like 2019. I didn't know anything, and those videos are like deleted or saved, archived because nobody needs to see that anymore. But like, this is so, it's like, it doesn't matter if you're disabled or not. Everybody sucks at something when they're new at it, right? So I just sucked like a little extra because I couldn't see.
No, I
um,
mean it's really
but it just takes
impressive.
time.
If I didn't know that you were blind, I wouldn't even have guessed you were blind at all, which says a lot.
I'm good at faking it.
Yeah, you're. I mean, there's always a small chance I could be talking to someone and they're just faking it, and I would have no idea. Like, they were like,
There
there was
was
like
this
some.
movie. I was just gonna. You remind. There was this movie, and I forget what. It's a documentary, and it was called something like the woman who told like the world's biggest lie or something like that. It was this woman who like built a life off of, like, built a life in terms of like what she did with her life, how she made money, stuff like that, based on a fake story that she was present for 9/11, like in the World Trade Center. So that's crazy.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what you made.
No, I
That's the
think.
only time I've actually seen someone make a ridiculous claim like that.
I mean, I know a story where a person faked having cancer and like people donated money and such, and like they like they cut she cut
Yeah.
he or she cut their hair off and everything, and then it was all a lie, and then like that family's been like blacklisted from everything. Like, how can you how can you do that to your people? Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I actually know Demi Lovato. I saw her documentary a few years ago, and her father apparently did that to like her and her family. So I guess people do it. I don't know. Is Yeah, definitely very messed up.
I mean, if you look at the results, like we're getting large following, so like I get why, and like you could fake it. Like there's, like I don't have your medical records. I don't know. Like if you're maybe you
Yeah.
can't see and you're just I don't know. I mean, it'd be like you have fooled everyone. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I love when people when people, I mean, it's really common for me to get comments that I'm not actually blind, people telling me I'm blind. I'm like, you go far back enough in my social media. I'm not even making like videos about being blind. I didn't decide to like really make a social media based on that from the get-go. It just like, as I learned more about social media and found like blind talk in my niche and stuff, like that's what happened. But it wasn't actually really the plan from the beginning,
I
which
feel
is,
like we're in the same boat that when we first started, we didn't really like think much into it. But now that we have
mhm,
much larger following, that we kind of almost obligated to spread awareness because now we have like the platform to like really educate people.
right.
It's kind of nice. I don't know. I feel like I'm becoming an enemy I'm becoming the villain because like I never want to be one of the people that's like advocating and like like, oh, I have this disease and this, and then like I'm slowly becoming that person. I'm just like, oh no, like what am I doing? I'm doing everything that I said I wouldn't want it to be.
Right. No, I totally get that. Cause also, yeah, yeah, because also when you're making social media, you want to make what people want to see. So you pay attention to what your followers engage in. And so usually that's how like my content is somewhat born, or how I end up going down certain paths and creating different campaigns for social media. I'm like, really? It's just what the people want. It's not even entirely me, but also, yeah, I need to educate the world on blindness now that I see how much is going on. You get into blind talk and hear what all the blind people are dealing with, and I'm like, this is just absolutely insane. How do people still not know about this? So, yeah,
No, if
working on.
if you enter the YouTube world, you are reliant on yourself for all these ideas. Honestly, like I know, like on TikTok, you'll go on like you like reply to a comment, and that's like another video. But like on YouTube, you're just on your own. Like you come
Right.
up with your own topic, every week for like I do one video a week, so that's 56 videos a year. But it doesn't
Yeah.
seem that bad. But when you like sit down and like film it and stuff, it's actually a lot of work to do.
It's a lot. Yeah. Especially because you have to do like the planning and stuff. Are you having fun being loud back there?
Hey.
Hi, sweet lady. Want to say hi? You want to say hi? Oh, she's bowing, saying hi. Hi, 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 hi. Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, YouTube. Yeah, no, coming up with, yeah. I mean, you can kind of try to follow trending content, like based on what's going on in the news and stuff. But honestly, it's really hard to relate that to, I don't know.
I don't even follow the algorithms because I feel like once you find out that's trending, it's almost too late because you just blend in with everybody else. So I've been
Yeah.
just doing my own thing, and people have been following because like how everyone goes like let's say so like this month when we release the video, it can be in like October, but we're filming in June right now, and it's
Hmm.
Pride month right now. So like
Yeah.
everyone posting about Pride, but like everyone posting about it, so like your work just becomes blended with everyone else. But if you post about Pride in September, your work stands out more because there's no competition. So that's what I'm thinking. Just do my own thing and because awareness kind of happens year round. I can't just do 1 month and then call it
Right.
quits.
Yeah. Yeah, it also depends on the platform because the algorithm for TikTok is extremely like interest based right now. But anyway, I'm really bad about talking about social media and like the algorithms and stuff because I'm way too crazy about it, way too into it. But no, I will do YouTube. That's the thing though. Like I do want to have like one video a week, kind of like I want it to be able to be somewhat consistent in it. So that's why I haven't really started it back, because I want to have a good at least idea of a few videos before I just jump
Well,
back in.
I can say me and the audience listening to the podcast can definitely agree that I think you do really well on YouTube with your personality and
Thank
style.
you. I just let me know if you think of any videos to do. That's the only thing that I'm like, what do I do? Because it's long content. That's the
Mhm.
thing. Like TikTok, Instagram, like 11-second video. Yes, I can do that.
So I know you are really attractive to voices. Would you be down to give your honest opinion on my voice? Because I never had my voice rated before.
Sure. Well, what? Just
A 1 to 10 scale.
like, oh, just a 1 to 10 scale.
I mean, I never did it before, so like I don't know. Is there like a chart I should be following or something?
Well, no, I'm just thinking because like it's not. I mean, you're making kind of a good point. So when I say I'm like most attracted to voices, like from listening to so many people in my life and kind of traveling a lot globally, I can, I feel like, get a pretty good idea of who someone is. I mean, a lot of people will make a lot of assumptions on who a person is based on how they look, right? I literally
Mm-hmm.
do the same thing with voices. So it's not that I'll like initially say, "Oh my God, I love this person's voice." I can initially say, "Okay, this person's voice is very distinctive to me and I find that interesting." But and then I listen in and it's like, do I like that person's personality or not? And then that'll make me like want the like, I'll find their voice more and more attractive. But at first, it's really just a gauge on somebody's like personality and who they are. So for me, I think like your voice, I have a pretty good, clear, in my mind, understanding of like who you are. I can't really elaborate more than that. I don't know how to. It's like the same thing when not supposed to, but people judge a book by its cover, and I do the same thing with voices.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
No, I think it's a very interesting perspective, and I don't know. I did never get my voice rated before, so I'm just curious to what you would say because I
I
feel like you're an expert at this for now.
I just don't know how to rate it. Like I would just say it's not like I rate it in my head. It's almost like I group it in my head. Like I
Yeah.
hear it and it reminds me of a certain personality, like a certain kind of person that I've met before. And so that's what happens to me when I meet new people and I hear new voices. It kind of just like in my mind immediately kind of gets organized. So like when I've heard your voice, which I heard before today obviously because I like have been looking at your videos and stuff, I like very quickly had the idea of kind of like personality in my mind that your voice went to. So I don't know how to rate it.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay. I think I did look at the situation in a little differently than how you were
Yeah.
explaining. Yeah. So, are there any like, I guess, celebrity that you really love to listen to? I guess.
Oh, yeah. There are definitely celebrities that I've like love their voice. Well, there are celebrities that just have very distinctive voices that I don't like specifically love or don't have a super strong attraction to. But for example, Morgan Freeman has a very distinctive voice. That's something that I can like,
Mm-hmm.
and anybody can pretty much pick up instantly. I would say I love Ian Shoemaker. Is that what his? No, 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 no. He played Damon in Vampire Diaries. Ian Somerhalder, is that what it is?
I
Vampire.
don't.
Yeah, Ian Somerhalder. Somerhalder. I
Okay.
love his voice. Oh my god, he's got quite the voice. He's got such a voice that there's a TikToker that I follow that pretty much he has a huge following and it's mostly from him just voicing over Damon from Vampire Diaries and he just looks like the person happens to look a lot like the actor. So anyway,
Okay. So, are
that's
you
one.
okay?
I'm trying to think of a female now that I really like
I
in
I know
terms
it's a
of their
very weird
voice.
question to ask. I don't think you were imagining answering this question today when you woke up.
That's okay. Oh, I love Alyssa Milano a lot. So the people, yeah, probably from TV shows. I like TV shows a lot. So Charmed was one that was huge in like the early 2000s that I got hooked on and still watch way too much. So Alyssa Milano is one of the main characters in that.
Are you more attracted to like comedians then, or like watching or like listening to stand up?
Okay, gotcha. At first, I thought you were asking if I'm into like straightforward personalities or something. So I was
Oh
like not
no,
on the
it's
same.
like stand up because it's just mostly a guy on a stage and like you don't really have to see the person
Just
at all. Just listening.
I mean, I really like stand ups just because I like comedy. I actually don't really go out of my way to watch them that much. You'd be surprised. There's a lot that you hear in media, in the shows you watch, the movies you watch, that you watch. There's a lot of noise to it. And as a blind person, since it's all we're taking in a lot of the time, you just get very used to good guesswork of what's happening and following along. And if my eyes need a break, I don't even try to look at what I'm looking at. It's not that big of a deal for me if I can't see what's going on, to be honest.
No, it's such an interesting perspective. I know I Netflix is on for some show where they actually explain like the setting. Like, do you ever have that feature on or no? Or that's too much for you?
Yeah, the audio description.
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
it.
don't. If I really want to see something, I'll just magnify it and get close to it. So anything that's animated is a lot easier for me to see. So I do like cartoons and stuff just because it's very easy on my eyes. But when it's more complicated, I can either try to zoom in if I want to, but there's usually not really a need. Like if they want you to see something on a TV screen for the movie, for the show, whatever, they're gonna make it pretty big. They're gonna like try to make you see it. And if I don't see it, I don't really care. I usually, if I don't see it and they don't say anything about it, which they do a lot, you know, because they'll do like a big reveal and then they'll show like something in someone's hand, but they won't say anything about it. So I'm just sitting there like, well, yeah, I don't know what that is. So that'll be cool to find out in the next episode. Like, you know, eventually you're gonna find out. So, or you can ask a sighted person, which, you know, if I'm with a sighted person, I'll ask questions now and then. Like, oh, what just happened?
So interesting to hear your perspective. So I wanted to know, like, so mention that you have peripheral vision and no central vision.
Hmm.
Would you press a button to restore full vision for a mom, but a random person dies in the world?
Oh my gosh. No.
Really?
No, I don't really, no, I'm pretty happy with my life and the vision that I have. Like, and I don't know, I kind of think that at some point in my life, they're definitely working towards, Elon Musk is doing some stuff. They have studies going on. Some super vitamin is in the works for specifically like Stargardt patients. So, no, definitely not. I don't want to kill anybody. And a random person, you don't know who I would be killing. And I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, a person's a person. I'm too much of the airbender to take that up.
You're a better person than I am, so I, I would have pressed the button before even hearing the second part of the question.
Like, yeah, I don't know. This just, you definitely see that question, like, oh, if you could get your vision back tomorrow, would you do it kind of thing. And yeah, if it were consequence free, but I don't know. I like work very hard in my life to enjoy life, and it almost is never like up to how much I can see. You just find new ways to like live your life. I mean, it's very hard at first because like you have hobbies that maybe you can't do now, but it doesn't mean you can't like have new hobbies. And I don't know. I'm a very artsy person, so I like music. I'm in love with music, and you don't need to be able to see to love music. So
It just seemed that you're just very secure in yourself and having vision would be nice, but like you don't need it to live and be happy because you're happy the way it is right now.
hmm. And plus, if I got my vision back tomorrow, like I don't know, I would like still be making social media stuff, but I wouldn't have that same personal connection that I currently do with everybody.
I feel like you would look at past pictures and you'd be like, I went out like that? Like
Oh, that does currently happen. Because when you're, even for me, like after work, because I just use a mirror that's not even really like magnified in any way, because I just don't really care if any of my appearance is really that messed up. But yeah, there have been times where afterwards you zoom in the photo and you're like, ugh. Or after I record something and I'm like, okay, didn't know that piece of hair was like literally just like sticking this way whole video. But I'm like, not gonna waste time and record all of that again. So
Well, that's what's good about TikTok. If it's only 10 seconds, it's easy to do 10 seconds. When you do long form, you got to refilm the entire thing.
yeah, oh yeah, no, and forget that. That was the one of like my biggest problems when I was trying to do YouTube. I was like, how many takes is this gonna take? I would like literally be filming for hours and hours and like not even get a video out of it. So,
It's the worst, but I want to go into, so I know you want to talk about right now you're not living at your place that you were forced to move and you said you were discriminated again. So like how does someone discriminate you for your blindness? I'm a little confused.
it was more just that, so I was living with my landlord was also my roommate, and this is someone that I had gone to high school with. I didn't know him in high school. He was a few years older than me. But like through a mutual friend, I knew him later on, like after college and stuff, and we just both happened to be like looking for a place, and he actually wanted to buy a place, so he bought the place, became the landlord slash roommate. And he had never, I don't even think, really had roommates before. So it was just I don't know. He like over like in the beginning it was totally fine. And then as time went on, there was just something he was progressively just getting more and more irritable all the time. And finally in April, he's just very ableist. So there wasn't anything he was specifically discriminating like me for being blind, because I mean, what can he do to discriminate? But he was really starting to I mean, just talk shit to me about being blind and how he's accommodating me and stuff. Like, he would just make things up. You know how people like to just, use a disability as a scapegoat? So this is
Mm-hmm.
what he kept doing. And it was crazy because I was very nervous to be around him because he was getting so irritable. And I mean, he's like a big dude, 6 foot, I'm 5'5", 115 pounds. Like, I'm not a big person. So I was completely like avoiding him. Like, I knew his work schedule, and if he was in the home and I didn't have my boyfriend with me or someone else wasn't there, I was in my room. Like, literally completely avoiding him at all costs because I didn't want to be around someone who was yelling all the time, whatever. And so finally, one day, he asked me to take care. So there was a leak in the house, which I found. I found the leak, not my landlord. I found the leak. He got a plumber to come. He wasn't even there for the plumber. He asked me to be there for the plumber. So I literally was there, signed off for the plumber. Then he asked me, hey, can I give you the information to facilitate the drywall repairs for the leak in the bathroom? Because I had to like tear up the ceiling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, while he's away in Costa Rica, he asked me to take care of drywall repairs. My landlord asked me to take care of drywall repairs while he was on vacation in Costa Rica. And I said, no. I wasn't being mean about it. I was like, can't you just do it like when you come back from vacation? Like, I was already here for the plumber and stuff. And he completely lost it and was just yelling at me and got almost hit me at one point. So like, I had to take legal
Oh
action, and
no.
obviously I moved out like that day. Yeah, he like literally risked hitting me in order to silence me at one point. Like, literally, when I pointed out like that he almost hit me because that's what he did, he swung at me. His response was, "I thought you were going to interrupt." So
That,
there's this person literally yelling, I'm accommodating you so much for being blind. Like, and he started telling me, like, oh, you're home all the time because you're blind and you can't drive. And he wasn't letting me talk. So this whole conversation is me not being able to say anything. I wouldn't say anything because what he was saying was not making sense anyway. But he was literally like, you're home all the time because you're blind, which is not the reason I'm home all the time. I like to be home because I work. I work from home on social media, and then I have another job that I now have part of. Anyway, I'm not home all the time. If I want to go somewhere, it doesn't matter that I'm blind. I just go somewhere, dude. I don't have to drive to get an Uber in a city.
yeah, he's
Um,
also the landlord, so it's really his responsibility to do these things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, aside from that, 100%. But yeah, so he's yelling at me. I'm home all the time. So he's like, oh, it would be so easy for you to take care of this drywall repair because you're already home all the time. And then the next thing he says is that I don't like you being home all the time. I don't want to come home from work and see you being here. And I'm like, well, then don't have a roommate. And then he was also saying, like, I do so much for this apartment. Like, I accommodate you for being blind. So, like, you should at the very least do this for me. Was just, dude, it was mind blown. He wouldn't let me talk. He wasn't saying anything sensical. At one point, he was literally talking about how the floors weren't clean enough, and I was like, "You've never told me that I'm not doing a good enough job cleaning the floors." And he was like, "Well, I bought a vacuum," and I was like, "Okay." So you're saying I'm supposed to know from you buying your own first, like, he didn't even own a vacuum. I was like, so you're saying when you bought a vacuum, I should have known that meant I wasn't cleaning the floors well enough. And he just went, yes.
Man, that's fucked up.
So, I mean, just completely insane. He also, in that same conversation, he threatened to tow my boyfriend's car. He was like, you know what? I'm done with you. The next time your boyfriend comes over, I'm towing his car. So he threatened to tow a car from a parking spot that's legally mine. Almost hit me because he wasn't letting me speak. At one point, I said, can I talk now because you've been talking for 5 minutes? He literally said, no, you're not allowed to talk. So it was just ridiculous. I mean, I'm standing there, my 5'5" blind self, while this 6 foot man is telling me I'm not allowed to speak, is throwing arms at me, is telling me how much he's accommodating me for being blind, but we're having a conversation about him asking me to do something for him, which is in the first place not my responsibility anyway. So it was just insane, and I'm still dealing with it. I literally have a court date coming up for it because, the dude was freaking crazy, got super violent, and now I have like a protective order against him. And it's crazy that someone can have so much so much of an issue with themselves that they have to like put it on a disabled person. It's just stupid.
Shit, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Like, that's not
Thanks.
deserved at all. Like, shit, I feel like he just got really insecure himself that he did put it out on you.
Yeah. I
And
mean, he had been having issues like more progressively, but yeah, no, everything. I mean, he wasn't making literally no sense. I mean, he was telling me that I should have read his mind. Like,
man, it's so fucked up that he just got to that point that he was destroying everything against you, and like he didn't deserve any of it. Like just from talking to you, you just seemed to be a reasonable person, and like like what he should do or not do, and bringing like I can understand like a disability can be a bad thing, and I get that, but like
yeah,
it's also not a good enough reason to just discriminate someone again that in any way, and especially if you're actual landlord, it's your responsibility to do the changes. You're just a roommate, like you can just, you pay to be there, and it's, man, that's so fucked
yeah,
up. Are you?
no. So I left.
Yeah, are you okay now? Like, are you like mentally okay from it?
I'm still shaken up. I'm mostly just like, I mean, like mentally, I'm okay in the thing that like I am a fully accepted disabled person. Like I'm comfortable with who I am. If I hadn't been, like if it had been 17-year-old me that he was yelling at, that would have been a different story. Like, cause I mean, it's hard enough, like as a disabled person to accept that you're disabled and then to like
Mm-hmm.
understand self-worth and everything. And then to have someone to just literally yell at you about nothing, like literally just to yell at you about being like disabled. So not like that, I'm okay, but in terms of I have to go to court and like see him in just honestly a few days. So
Oh
that's the
no.
part I'm not super excited for.
I
But
mean, big props for
um
you for like leaving, and then also I guess you sue them for like you're like not just accepting the situation, but you want to inflict some harm to him because he definitely deserves that. No
yeah,
one deserves to be treated like that at all.
yeah. Well, it's just a protective order. So all it is basically if the someone comes to the court and you just submit a form and you say someone has shown me, there's an exact like phrase, but like an act of force, violence, aggression, something like that. Someone has like really threatened you or they actually have harmed you. You go to the court, you fill out a form immediately. You can fill out a police report too. And basically, you immediately get put in front of a judge. So, right now, I have a preliminary, I guess, yeah, preliminary protective order in place. There's also emergency protective orders. And so that's what I'm going to court for. So it's really not like there's no like sort of like financial repercussion or anything, but it's literally just like the judge is going to say, yes, I agree that he needs to not legally be able to be in the same space as this person. So kind of like a restraining order. So the outcome would be like 2 years, I believe, or the judge can make it whatever they want, but I think normally it's around 2 years. You can't come in contact with that person at all.
But it's crazy that it got to the point where you actually needed protective custody from the person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, the world's crazy, man. I mean, like, I'm just trying to have happy disabled life here. And someone's like, "Why aren't you fixing my drywalls?" Like, "Well, I thought you said I was blind." So, like
You should.
can't do
Do you ever
anything.
do you ever like play the joke of like? I guess you could just do it like with your boyfriend or something, like a joke like, let's say he's in front of you, but like you're looking at the wall or
Yeah.
something. Do you ever play that kind of joke on people?
Just like playing
You're
around with my eyesight and
Yeah, like you're
whatnot.
just looking at the wall and like complaining with the wall or something. Like knowing where
um
he is, but like you're just joking around.
I don't do that too much. I feel like the only way that I joke around is that a lot of times people think I'm not seeing something because they're so used to people having like looking central vision, but I only have peripheral. So my family and then strangers, whomever I see around, don't expect it, but I'll see stuff that's happening in my peripheral and I'll mention it or I'll like laugh to myself.
I'm sure they're like, damn it, Stephanie saw it.
It's usually not really something that big, but I definitely do. I joke around about being blind a lot, but I don't really I don't think what you were asking. I normally just make
Uh,
blind people jokes because those are funny.
No, I mean, I think it's fine. It's just, it's your life. Like, you might as well make fun of it too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm too
You're too nice.
I just no, honestly, I'm just quite the I love being a clown and being sarcastic and having humor and stuff, but I have a very also like ditzy personality. So people ask me these questions and I'm like, I've never even thought about it. No. Like I don't do that.
Well, now you have something to do tonight.
I know. Well, I'm like honestly after you ask that question, I'm like trying to think, all right, how can I mess with people with my eyesight? It's hard to think of because there's not much to work with, but I'm sure I can find something.
So before I let you go, so I know you're a singer, and I would love to sing a song with you. I don't, but I know you maybe recorded this a long time ago, and I don't know if you really remember the lyrics. But can I like start singing you, and then you can like shut me down when you're over it?
Oh my gosh, sure. But are you gonna play music or anything? I guess we can't
No,
really.
I'm just gonna sing the lyrics out loud, and then you can kind of follow if you remember the lyric, or you can just shut me down
Sure.
when you're done listening to me. You have actually one of your songs is actually a banger. It called Hourglass.
You like that one too? I like that one. Um.
I don't know. I think it's really good. So I'm just gonna sing the chorus. I'm
Oh,
yeah. I'm terrible at singing. So like, you actually have a good voice, but like, it goes. Let me be your hourglass. I'm butchering this so badly. It's better in the song, but I'll count every second. I'll be your past. I'll be your present. Make each moment last. Let me be your hourglass. I'll hold us together. Yeah, you can trust me forever. I'll do what I must.
I love it. Yes. No, I don't even remember the lyrics that well, and I wrote them. But yeah, thank you. No, I love, dude. I don't care anybody's level of singing. I am so about music. I will sing with anybody all the time. It does not matter how you sound or if you sing
No,
or if you've never
you
sung
you
anything.
gotta give me like that's like a 0 out of 10 scale. It's terrible. I'm never gonna
I
be
don't
singing.
know. It sounded like you're humming a tune.
No, you're now you're being too nice to me. You're being too nice.
Well, honestly, I was just trying to think. I can't even like remember how the chorus goes. So I was mostly like trying to like recount it in my head as you were going. I was like, "What's the next line?" Well, I don't even remember the notes. Yeah, it's been a
No,
while, been a few years.
no, but before I take the mic away from you, is there anything you want to say, promote, any words of wisdom, the winning lottery numbers? The mic is all yours.
Oh my gosh, I wish I knew the winning lottery numbers. Let me think. I think just don't be ableist. That's a big thing. Don't be ableist, but just remember to be safe, please. Yeah, okay, no, I think that's what I want. My words of wisdom today. I just want everyone to be safe. Being in the disabled community, I'm just constantly hearing stories about where people's lives and I mean just their general safety is at risk because of XYZ. So just live your life and be safe because the world is crazy because of COVID. I'm sorry. Let me try to make this more positive. Be safe, be happy, love life. Oh, na zdrowie. There you go. It means for your health in Russian. Na zdrowie.
Okay, there you go. So thank you, Stephanie, so much for giving me your time and your wisdom and singing skill. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching, and I'll see everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.